have mentioned just now the teams that we have in our modules, they are consisting from students from 7 different schools.
Yeah,
They are
that's right.
exactly like the actual startup, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. With different backgrounds, right?
Yes, but my interest is in AI. I like to do stuff. I like to build robots. I like to program things. Traditional university, they might not have allowed that.
What do you think is the future of education,
Oh.
of formal education, as we have it here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Day in the Life of a Professor. Today, I'm here sitting with Joe Low. Actually, we're going to talk a little bit about how things are here in China. I work with Joe here at the university in China, and we're colleagues, actually. And I wanted to bring this conversation because there are some people that is nowadays, with the current news and everything, more interested about coming to China, and they would like to know about the requirements, how it is to work in a position like the one we have here. We've been working together already for 3 years, 3 to 4 years, something like that. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring this conversation so that you can, understand a little bit how it is to be working here and requirements, visa processes, lifestyle, culture. But yeah, let's listen from Joe. So thank you very much, Joe, for being here, and
Yeah.
welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joe, and thanks, Dr. Antonio, for inviting. Yes, I'm happy to share more about my life here in China and how I got my job here in XJTLU.
So, Joe, tell us, you're from Malaysia, and what did you decide to come to China in the first place? So, what is the culture, understanding with Malaysia and China? They're very close related to each other. How this idea came to you first to come to China?
All right. So before coming to China, I worked in a UK university with a branch in Malaysia. So I got the idea of coming to China because every single time when we teach, we use a lot of examples, case studies about the technology, current trend, and everything points to China, apparently, all right? When it comes to advancement of technology, when it comes to, latest business cases, it all points to China. That's when I have the thought that why teach about these examples when I could be eventually in the action.
You're trying to bring those case studies.
Yeah, in the center of action when it all happens. Then I have this thought, why not? I moved to China. Then I started looking at the existing institutions here in China that are in line with my current job. So I started to look at the UK institutions first. That's where I came to found about XJTLU, which is a joint venture collaboration between Xi'an University and Leopold University.
Right. So yeah, I would like to know, like, how is it the view from most of, let's say, generally speaking, from Malaysian people coming to China? Is that like good step into a different progress of careers? How's the relationship between these two at the macro level? Like, let's say Malaysia and China, are they very closely related to each other in different rubrics, or how is that?
Of course, I'm a Chinese in Malaysia. So Malaysia, we have 3 different races. Major races, okay, Malay, Chinese, and Indian. So definitely my ancestors come from China. In terms of culture-wise, I think we are not that far apart from China when it comes to food, when it comes to the tradition, the celebrations. We celebrate the same Chinese New Year. So for me, it's easy to adapt. Yeah.
Because the language is the same. I think you're speaking Cantonese, right? The case for people in Malaysia, or they would speak regular Mandarin?
Most Chinese in Malaysia, they have, they do learn Chinese in school, but they might have different dialect. They have Hokkien, they have Cantonese, like myself. But it's not a hard task to transition over to China.
Right. Because language and cultures and stuff. So okay, so it was something that it was always in your mind, let's say from long time ago. Then you were working in the university in Malaysia, right? In the UK university. What year are we talking about? Like many years ago? From what time to what time? For how long you have that experience? That's my question. In Malaysia.
Yeah. After after I've obtained my PhD, I started working in a private local university in Malaysia.
Okay.
For
Is that in
5 years.
Kuala Lumpur?
In Johor Bahru.
to Singapore.
Yeah, for 5 years. Then I moved to a UK branch campus for another 2 years before coming to China.
Oh, okay, so you had like experience of 5 in
Plus
this
2.
private university plus 2 in the UK system, and then you apply, and then you have this option as one of the first ones. Were you interested in some other country to go and work in this field of academics, or just China? It was very open to you, like very clear.
Yeah, that time was very clear that, I've specifically wanted to work in China. And that time was specifically very challenging to come to China. It was in between of the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all had that transition in COVID times, right? We all have our own like stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually we were joining at that time, right? That was 2020.
Two.
And okay, so you wanted to come, but it was difficult to come at the time. Did you start working online, or was that okay?
Yeah, I had a online start because that time the education was that you need to provide online classes because they are not allowed to come face to face yet. So yes, I started working online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
where I deliver classes online before making it to the campus on site.
So what were the requirements? Did they ask you something for you to be able to work online, or they will wait for you until you come, then you sort out all of your visa paperwork and stuff? Any
No,
requirements for that?
to have an online start, you need to complete the process just like any other expats. You need to get everything done before you could even start, except for the reporting here physically.
Okay. So they would ask, I don't know, like certifications of studies. What other requirements would they ask from the job and then from China?
Okay, if I remember correctly, yeah. If I remember correctly. So before you start working in China, you need to complete the applications. I think it will be work permit, and then you need to have a visa as well. So that time, in order for you to be eligible to work in China, first you need to apply for the work permit, which is submitted by the university. So you need to submit every single thing, your certificates and everything needed to be endorsed by the embassy. So this is one of the challenging part of it.
Of China in Malaysia?
Yeah, in Malaysia. So depending on where you have graduated, like for example, if you have graduated in Malaysia, your transcript might be in English or Bahasa in Malay. If you have graduated from different part of the world, your transcript might be in different languages. It needed to be translated, yeah, and endorsed by the embassy.
Okay. So as long as you have a degree on a PhD or on a master's, so it was okay. What was your degree actually?
I have a PhD in management. As far as I know, if you have a higher qualification, it might be easier to apply for the visa. So visa, they have different category. They have A category, B category,
and C. Yeah, I remember it was a bit similar because I was in a transition of jobs at that time, 2022. So I needed to wait for a release letter there from a previous job. So with that letter, I could actually apply to get this job officially here, right? But then I got stuck in 2 provinces, in Shanghai and Taicang here in Jiangsu. So, but I couldn't really work what you were saying, because I couldn't really work until I was here able to do all the process. So even I was saying, can I start online? But they say no, because you wouldn't be officially working. You wouldn't have like the work permit already started.
Okay, my time, I think, is a little bit special. I think I joined before you. So my time, we were allowed to have an online start. Yeah. So the salary was eventually, if I remember, was eventually paid through Liverpool instead of China. So my salary was entered directly to my Malaysia bank account. So I had an online contract. Other than that, I think it's similar than, with what you had. I had to show that I have worked outside of China for a certain number of years. I need to have the termination letter as well, only from the latest employer, which is a UK institution that I mentioned. I also needed to show from my previous employer, the one that I have 5 years, because if I remember correctly, the regulation or the requirement is that you need to show that you have been working outside of China for a number of years. I forgot the number, might be 3, might be 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember on those process, but Yeah, so I would like to know. So when you're going through this process, is it something that you're really keen on continuing? Like for example, the lifestyle of a professor here in China,
Uh,
is that very different to the one in Malaysia, or
mm.
what do you think are the difference? Because you were in both, right?
I
Systems.
think it's definitely worth transitioning. I think I've seen a lot of different structures, and in China, we are very well supported in terms of whether in terms of teaching, research, or
Mm-hmm.
services. And one of it that I'm happy to see is that in different departments, we do have professional services
Mm-hmm.
support, to help us in running the events, to help us with the student helpers and so on.
Hmm.
I think that is a perks of working in the
Yeah.
university.
What about flexibility as a professor? You guys have, well, we know, but I'm asking you, what's the flexibility in you compared to other jobs that you see in Malaysia, for example? Is that a big thing?
I think
Big difference?
it needed to be depending on the contract that you have. I think all of us here in China, we are on this balance track where you can have a balance between teaching, research, and service. So I think it's very healthy for academics, especially those young academics, so that you can focus on things that they like,
Yeah.
apart from teaching.
What subjects were you teaching? What was
Yeah.
it?
So I'm in the Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Hub. So I mainly teach all the entrepreneurship, marketing, and business modules. So it's perfectly aligned with my expertise. I have no issue with it at all. The only thing is that the department that we are in right now caters to 7 different schools in the campus. All our students basically the students from the whole campus. So we have a large number of students.
Can you tell us the school?
Yeah, we have the School of AI, the School of Robotic, Intelligent Manufacturing, IoT, Supply Chain, Cultural Technology. Did I
So,
miss out one?
no, I think you mentioned creative
Chips,
technology, chips.
chips.
So
That one.
how is that, like together with EEH, with entrepreneurship, how are they working together?
The structure here is special in the sense that in different part of the world, in a different country, entrepreneurship might come as something as an optional module, or where students have got the choice whether they would like to take it up or not. But in our Taichung campus, in the XJTU Taichung campus, the Entrepreneur College, this is our selling point where all the students here are needed to take the compulsory entrepreneurship module. So that's why our student consists of everyone. So when they graduate, they will be graduating with a degree with contemporary entrepreneurialism. Yeah.
That's recognized by the Ministry of Education of China, plus the certification of a university in UK.
So you can say that students who are here are students that are really interested in entrepreneurship. They might be an entrepreneur themselves already, or they aim to become an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
this is what we hope to achieve,
Yeah.
making everyone in the campus an entrepreneur with all the supports that we could give.
Yeah, that's one of the good things that I was surprised when I just recently joined. Well, now actually you were in the process of, before in the first years, we used to have those regular peak classes models, right?
Mm.
Like as a regular lecture hall, and then you go and give the theory and a little bit of tutorials, and that's it. But now, a couple of days ago till today, there was a new structure, right? So
Mm.
what do you think? Can you talk a bit about a structure like the year one? What
Yeah.
do they do? Year two, year three, year four? How is the process going on that with these students?
Yeah. So previously, like traditional teaching university or in business, school of business, what they do have is the structure will be like lecture and tutorial. Students will go into a room, learn a little bit about theories, and then in the tutorial sessions, they do a little bit of case studies. But here in XJTLU, we have innovate. So we are moved away from the traditional teaching and learning. We are much more hands-on. So starting from day one, students will work on actual live industry projects where they start to apply what they learn immediately rather than learning the theories in detail or learning the case studies that have passed. they eventually create their own projects. That's one thing unique about here, because all our students are eventually considered as technical students. They are from engineering.
Yeah, so the entrepreneurship school is there to help them to go through the process of making that artifact, whatever they're working, and then put it out there to solve the necessities of companies, right?
Yeah, and we have developed the structure in a way that we support them through 3 years program throughout with us. In year 1, they will explore the idea that they wanted to do, through the projects that are given by our industry partners. In year 2, they will innovate, maybe create a prototype out of it. And year 3, we'll help them to market their project. So foundational, they will go through the normal preparatory modules, might be English lessons, some pre-lessons from the different programs.
So there's a model which I find very interesting, like with 800 plus students. So they divided into 4 sessions, 200, 200, 200, 200. And in one of these sessions, 200, so they divided into all these teamworks, right? So like 30 plus teams. And each one of this team, of this group of students, they coming from different schools, as Jojo say, is coming from chips, from AI, from creative technology, from supply. So actually, when they sit together in this group, in the table physically, and then we give them those problems that the industry actually is sending it to us. So they start working on something, some solutions, and they coming from a different mindset, right? So different approach. Some of them you can see they're very technical, or they would like coding, but some others are more hands-on into the marketing, this kind of thing. And they're all in the same team, in the same group. And like this group, we have like 30 plus per each session. So at the same time, we're like maybe 9 of us teachers working around because we're mentoring those groups, right? So that's something that we started.
That's also something that we are proud of. I've never seen any university that have that break the silo like us, that combine all the students from different schools in the same session.
Yeah. So what are the challenges of it?
A lot. So if you combine schools, one thing that we consider is the workload of the students. So they'll be working on different projects. What we try to achieve is that the project that they do in the entrepreneurship courses could be carried over to their final year project. That is much more beneficial or better for the students. If not, they'll be doing different projects depending on the program requirement. But if we could align our projects with the L5P, they could do only one
project alone.
The whole study until they graduate.
Yeah, that's great, because actually you keep improving, iteration, improving. So this is something like now that we're teaching year 3, some students, most of them maybe, we'll see, because we're in week 1, they're going to be keeping probably some of the projects and then try to make it better. But some of them, they'll try to, maybe change to a different thing, develop a different website or an application, something like this.
We try to ensure that the project is big enough to cover all the aspects or program learning requirements from different programs.
Like about the new regulations and how artificial intelligence is taking place over many different kinds of tasks and homeworks and traditional teaching, right, on the students. How important do you think it is to actually enhance or actually embrace? What's your view on that?
I think we support AI. I think we are one of the very few universities that encourage the use of AI. In fact, all the modules in XGTL will be turned into AI enhanced module.
Right.
Yeah, where we teach the students on how to apply AI rather than to restrict the use of AI. So all the assessment that we develop must be able to evaluate how they have successfully used AI of accepting work that could be AI generated.
Because that's a big challenge, right, at the beginning, because traditional teaching used to be telling you, at the end of the semester, I want you to write like 2,000 words, 3,000 words in a report. And then it was, now with the use of AI, probably everything will be just generated. But then it's coming back to the structure of a system of a school and how our assessment are going to be, developed, and actually so that we can incorporate in some tasks and tutorials the AI, but at the final assessment, maybe not having that, having a combination of both.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. So if we were to describe it, we are eventually evaluating how they have used AI to complete the work and not evaluating the work itself.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think, I don't know, how's the view of this in back home in Malaysia, other UK universities, or
I mean, if you look into most universities now, they are still relying maybe on exams. Here we are
like
full.
written exam?
Written exams. Yeah. So here we are full project based.
Okay.
So written exams, most likely, AI would not be able to come into the
Yeah.
picture.
What about in your experience, like the students that we have here, out of this, let's say one of the big models that we have 800, divided into 200, as we just said, and then they divided by teams. What percentage do you think of those teams are actually contributing to something feasible, fulfilling some necessity of China surroundings? Have they been granted some funds by the innovation center, something like this?
If you look into it, we have just launched it for 2 years now. Starting from the first year that they are launched, we are starting to have students who have accepted into our incubator, X3 Co-Venture, where they have received their initial funding. And then from the X3 Co-Venture, some of the groups have eventually obtained other fundings from external, from the government, from our industries. Very good progress compared to if we only rely on the final year project, then we might have to wait until they reach the final year. But here, through our new entrepreneurship structure, they have been showing results starting from their year one.
Yeah, that's quite nice because it happens in my experience that I was mentoring some of these groups in these big models. And then I saw that they were doing at the beginning just for the assessment, right? For the task, for the homework. But then when they have everything ready, and then they have this, contribution or people coming from the innovation incubator factory, and then they come and then they tell them, you know what, your project is quite nice. We're willing to support you. And this is the first one. You just need to continue. So they were like, oh, wow, actually, I build it up. And then they start feeling, like having this sense of achievement as well, beyond the regular grades. Something similar to this incubator center that we have here, also supporting our students. Same happens in the master's program, right? Actually, I was just having now a meeting just upstairs with and then they were saying that in our structure of the master's program, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, in the year 2, you have 2 different pathways, which could be entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship, which is you're going to be working within a corporation. And so we're trying to encourage those people for the first pathway. So they were just saying that, there's also big support coming from different entities to support those students who are going for the entrepreneurship side of things. And so that they can, actually build on something for the benefit of the school and for themselves as well, even the family.
Yeah, I think one of our selling point for our master's program is that we have the most pathways available for the students. So it's not just by the Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Hub. In fact, it opens up pathways to different other schools in the XJTLU, regardless whether it's in Taichung Entrepreneur College or in the main campus in SIP. Yep, so we have 11 different pathways. No matter which background that you come from or what you wanted to do in the future, there's definitely a right pathway for you, all the way from business to healthcare to family successions.
What do you think is the future of education, of formal education as we have it here?
I think we are reaching there in XJTLU where we allow students to have their own choice. Education all the while, if you ask me, is like a fixed set of path. Bachelor's of A, then you need to complete this set of A modules and then you graduate with the degree. So what we wanted to do here is like a building block, like a Lego, where you can mix different pieces according to what you wanted to achieve in life. I might be in the supply chain program, for example, right? I'm in a business, I take a supply chain program, but my interest is in AI. I like to do stuff. I like to build robots. I like to program things. Traditional university, they might not have allowed that because you need to meet certain program requirements. But here in XJTLU, we have tons of supply chain students where their projects are on AI. They get to do something fun of themselves Or it could be the opposite. AI students might be doing something fun in the cultural technology, developing video games, coming up with cool videos. Yep.
Yeah.
So here in XJTLU, we try to have more of that kind of environment where students could pursue what they
Right.
wanted, at the same time obtain their degree. So if you ask me, that's my view of future.
Education. So that's very interesting because, yeah, to try to be able to get the resources of a university, but for your own benefit. And what I mean is like trying to develop that multidisciplinary mindset so that you can actually, that was your original interest, but then something else is coming up, something else is coming up. And as you say, like it's like little Legos from different models, let's say from resources of the university, that you can build up on your skills, right? And so when you fulfill your skills, maybe you're going to be much more ready to develop or fix some problems out there in the industry, not just as a regular package. This is what we have and this is what you need to study.
Yeah, like we have mentioned just now, the teams that we have in our modules, they are consisting from students from 7 different schools.
Yeah,
they are
that's right.
exactly like the actual startup, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. With different backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
So you have the very good at coding, and you have the very good person at sales, and we have a very good person at design and robotics. So this is exactly what we're trying to have. And yeah, this is like a good step in, I would say, into the formal education, trying to transition into what the actual needs are there. Well, I think with that, Joe, just the final question: what do you see yourself in some years? For example, so you see yourself like continuing in formal education, continue professorship, or what is it in
Yeah,
your mind?
I think I'll continue building cool stuff. I think the new structures have proven to be successful. Yeah, I hope that I could do more things like this.
Yeah, very much more things like exciting things.
Things. I mean that education shouldn't only be focusing on meeting specific program outcomes, but at the same time they should also have meaningful output.
Yeah. And trying to make it fun at the same time so that we enjoy the journey.
Yep. The students are definitely enjoying it as well as academics. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, of course. It's been great. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Joe, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks. Bye.